blue light on its own is extremely damaging. Okay, so when you go out in the daytime, blue light causes cell death in the eye. It causes issues the same as it does artificial light. But nature always puts something clever in to protect you, and that is red light.
Welcome to the Expanded Podcast with your host, Lacey Phillips. As a leading manifestation advisor with a process that's, radically different from the old New Age model, mine is rooted in psychology, neuroscience, and my energetic gifts. I created this podcast to help you expand your subconscious limiting beliefs about the potential of deserving the manifestations you're calling in. Therefore, you're tuning into this podcast series to show your subconscious that anything you desire is possible. And by pressing play, you've already started the process of manifesting it. And if you enjoy this episode, please leave us a review, comment, and share it with your fellow manifester that's struggling or could really benefit from the information that you're about to learn. Let's kick off this episode, as we always do, with a My Magnetic story. Hi, all. I had to share some amazing opulence magic to hopefully send some good vibes into the group. It had to do specifically with closing portals. This was the first time I specifically closed portals, but I've been doing this overall work for several months. Anyway, I've been working to call in money specifically from one-on-one clients. I'm a dating coach. And I had a portal open that I knew I didn't want to work on right now, but it was very ego-driven. I had 2 book agents interested in helping me sell my first book. Even though I've always wanted to write a book, I knew in my heart it wasn't the right time, that if I gave it a few years, I'd write a much better book in the future. But my ego was all caught up in already having these agents who wanted to help me. Last week, though, I finally emailed them both, thanked them for their time, but explained I thought it was best if I tabled the project until I had a larger platform. Even without having the new money come in, this felt like such a relief, so I knew I was operating in my authentic self. I closed the portal this past Sunday, and lo and behold, on Tuesday, I closed over $7,500 in new business. I know I worked hard for that business too, but the timing of the event was all too magical. I'm so motivated to keep doing this work. I'm really excited to get into this episode because it's near and dear to my health. But before I do, I just wanted to let you know that we've started something new. At the very end of this episode, I'm going to answer one manifestation question from you guys from my supported class series. So stay tuned until the end. Today's episode is with founder Andy Mant of BLUblox. Many of you guys know that I religiously follow everything Jack Kruse has to say because it's had a tremendous effect on my healing, meaning that I've moved to nature, gotten back into the rhythm, and I've really reduced, if not almost totally gotten rid of all of the blue light in my life, as well as any other light pollution and non-native EMFs. I've kind of biohacked, which you always hear about in the world of men, but it has transformed my hormones. It's transformed my circadian rhythm, which obviously controls the hormones. It's healed so much inside my body. I talk about it often. So I'm really, really passionate today about having founder Andy Mant on to explain further about his glasses that I wear, which are called BLUblox. And so he even educates me. I've been wearing the red ones throughout the day, and it turns out that's only supposed to be a night blocking system. So I immediately got off this episode and went and bought the yellow ones in the kind of cool old 50s Ray-Ban frames. And then I also bought the clear ones that I can use when I'm out and about and on my phone during the day that are in those really cool aviator frames that I love. The founder of Refinery 29 wears some like that. And she expanded me into these. So I'm super stoked to have him talk about it. He's actually the only product that I will allow on the intro of podcast for the next so many weeks because I feel so passionate about these for every person who can't have the luxury and the privilege like I've had of moving out of the city most of the time. And so if you're interested in these, after hearing about this, you'll want to follow the link below in the show notes, and you will use the code magnetic, capital MAGNETIC, in order to receive 15% off your glasses. And he's so beautiful in this episode. He lets you know if they're not the right fit or you want to exchange them because they're not working well or yada, yada. They're so accommodating because he's just as passionate as I am about really having people protect themselves from all of the disasters I've gone through hormonally and health-wise due to light pollution, specifically blue light stimulation, which tells our body every day, all day, that it's basically high noon, 12 p.m. So you can imagine after sleeping all night and the first thing we do is look at our screen in the morning, we've just told our whole circadian rhythm, our whole control panel of our hormones that we did not just get a full night of sleep. In fact, it's 12 p.m. It's 12 p.m. in the afternoon. So these glasses are the help to blocking that. And I'm really stoked for you to learn about them, to enjoy them, and use that code CAPS Magnetic for 15% off when you click the link below. Enjoy. Welcome back to the Expanded podcast. Today we have Andy Mant, who is the founder of BLUblox, which are the blue blocking glasses that I wear. I'm always wearing the red ones, and I believe in this so wholeheartedly. I had a lot of endocrine issues, a lot. And with the exception of finding out I had a couple of enzyme mutations and got those sorted, what's actually healed, I believe, all of my issues tremendously is really monitoring all of the non-native EMFs that come through. Sorry for anybody who's hearing my alarm, as well as really protecting myself from all of the blue light, getting into the forest where I'm living now, away from light pollution. So I want to kick it off to you. And I first want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, and then we're going to dive deep into light, blocking light, all of that good stuff.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on, Lacey. And I'll tell the viewers a little bit more about myself and how I ended up sort of founding BLUblox. So about sort of 5 or 6 years ago, I was actually quite overweight, very unhealthy. I was sick all the time. I was in hospital so much. I had my appendix removed. I had kidney stones, and this was all in my 20s. This is stuff that people in their 50s or 60s should be having. So what I did was initially is I sorted out my diet, and that sort of led me to really lose a lot of weight, get a little bit healthier, feel a lot better. But it also helped me do one thing which a lot of people out there don't do, which is think critically about health, and also look at things about alternative health and wellness as a subject as well. What I've always suffered from until obviously the last couple of years is actually poor sleep. And I thought that by fixing my diet, cleaning that up, that my sleep would improve, and it actually didn't. So I stumbled across a lot of papers about light, and it was talking about how we have circadian rhythms, and that light at specific points of the day trigger certain hormones, and lack of light at other parts of the day secrete other hormones that sort of help you sleep and balance your endocrine system and things like that. So what I did was I jumped on Amazon, bought a cheap pair of blue blocking glasses. They have these sort of amber lenses. I put them on a couple of hours before bed. Within a couple of nights, my sleep was a little bit better, which was really good. So I was like, there's definitely something in this. So what I did was I'm a bit of a science geek. I like to read all the studies out there. I like to delve really deep into the literature and go down those rabbit holes. And when I started reading the literature, it became quite clear that the blue light blocking glasses that I'd bought from Amazon, just this $20 pair, were actually not blocking what the science was saying it should block. So what I thought I would do is I would buy probably, I think it was about 10 to 12 pairs of different brands. And I actually bought myself a spectrometer as well, started testing these glasses to see what specific frequencies of light they blocked. None of them were coming up with blocking exactly in line with science. So I thought to myself, you know what? This product doesn't exist in its optimal form. And we don't want to be, sort of half getting to where we want to be, half solving our problems. So I set about actually creating a special tint, basically, for a better word, with an optical lab here in Australia, where we took the science and we knew, so basically light runs in nanometers, okay? So we knew that the whole blue spectrum and half of the green spectrum needed to be blocked after dark in order to optimize our sleep. So this tint was created to block 100% in line with all the blue and partial green blocking. And then we created this tint. We put it in our frames. And another thing that sort of struck us and my lab partners was that no one out there were doing really cool, stylish frames as well. Like we had to sit in sort of safety goggles or these cheap plastic frames that were like mass produced by the thousands in, like China or somewhere like that. And so we wanted to provide quality as well in the frames. So, that's sort of talking a little bit about the Sleep Plus product that we created. And from there, we actually designed daytime lenses as well, which, don't block all the blue light. We can come on to why later, but they filter out specific frequencies of blue light during the day, which actually helps people that maybe suffer from anxiety or stress or depression, or maybe they get migraine headaches when they work at their computer all day, or maybe even like smaller things like just tension headache or dry eyes. So, we wanted to, this is why our saying is advanced light filtering eyewear. We wanted to actually produce the most advanced technology out there and put them in the most fashionable lenses. And that's how BLUblox was born. And we've grown from, we've been around sort of almost 2 years now. And, we've grown from our humble beginnings to actually, people in the sort of health and fitness world and celebrity world are actually starting to wear our glasses a lot now as well. We have, I don't know in America if you follow a lot of soccer, but people that are listening might, but the captain of Liverpool FC wears our glasses,
awesome.
Which is very big football soccer team. We also supplied the Australian national soccer team our glasses to manage jet lag for their World Cup qualifiers. And a lot of people have come to us that it's funny because I think our company has grown because people have been drawn to us for two reasons. Number one, they already own blue light blocking glasses, but they're not happy with how they're performing. So they try ours and they're just like, oh my God, this is a different level. And secondly, it's the whole family and tribe sort of mentality that we like to portray. And we're not just about, getting a load of product from overseas and selling it for cheap. Like, our prices are slightly higher because they're high quality manufactured in Australia. But what we do is the service isn't just to sell glasses to someone, it's to educate and to give back to those people. So we have Facebook groups, we have mailing lists that, aren't all about sort of, buy. It's more about, did you know about this? Have you listened to this podcast? This is what you can do if you're feeling like this. So we're more of once you're in our family and in our tribe, we really try and, connect with everyone and help everyone on that individual level. So I think that's what sort of sets us apart. But that's where sort of I find myself today, Lacey.
Awesome. That's amazing. I always ask everybody this because we're super hippie and spiritual over here. What's your sun sign, your star sign?
My star sign is Libra.
Very cool. I'm an Aquarius. We're very like-minded. Okay, cool. Very cool. Well, introduce us to the light. I mean, I'm really, really versed on the light, what it does to us, because I have so many hormonal issues. But I really want to hear your perspective after having done all the research of how to really educate the listeners of what's going on with all this light pollution, how it's affecting us, specifically women, because this is primarily, a demographic of women, and how these are benefiting us.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we sort of delve into that, what I'll do is I'll explain that there's two types of light that we'll probably talk about today. And that is natural light, which is light that is emitted from the sun. So that comes up at sunrise and it finishes at sunset. And then you have artificial light, okay? So this is lights like any backlit digital device. So for instance, your smartphone, your laptop, your TV, and then also like LED lighting, car headlight, street lamps, things like that. And that can be on any time of the day, okay? From sunrise all the way through to the next sunrise. Now, we are all beings of light. And by that, I mean that we are, as mammals, we run on a 24-hour clock. So it's the spin of the earth, and different points of the day, we should be releasing specific hormones to keep ourselves optimal and in balance. The way those hormones are released is by different frequencies of light at different points of your day. So for instance, when you get up and watch the sunrise in the morning, this is the most optimal time that you need to be up in basically what we call entraining your body clock, your circadian clock. So this starts the clock ticking in the morning. So you get up, get outside and start watching the sunrise. Now, what this does is this actually elevates a hormone called cortisol. And in the mornings, cortisol is fantastic because it makes you feel alert. It sort of jumpstarts you for the day, a bit like having a morning coffee, but it's the sort of natural way to do things.
Yeah.
And I'll come on to why cortisol is both good and bad in a little bit, but in the morning, it's really good. And also you start sort of secreting neurotransmitters and other hormones. You have things like dopamine be released in the brain that makes you feel good and happy. So that, reduces feelings of anxiety and stress. And you also start creating things called serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter, which will later then be used to produce the hormone melatonin. So as you can see, this original point where you're actually up watching the sunrise is actually starting a cascade of, downstream processes that will influence you both hormonally now and also throughout the rest of the day correctly. So as the day goes on, you're maybe in the office, okay, and you're working on a computer. So the light that's emitted from your computer screen has the equivalent color temperature as it's around about solar noon. So as you can see, if the first thing you see in the morning is a backlit LED screen like a laptop or a phone, your body clock is going to start ticking, thinking it's solar noon. So you miss out on all the precursors before that time of that, the rising sun giving you that sort of serotonin, dopamine, cortisol boost that you need. So you just got to be careful what time you actually sort of, as the day goes on, you watch the sunset, for instance. So if you don't watch the sunset, you're probably still going to get some sleep. It's going to happen. And there's different types of sleep we can talk about later. But what the sunset actually does is the colors that are emitted from that sunset, which are like the reds and the oranges and the yellows, actually trigger a cascade and stimulate the pineal gland to actually start releasing something called melatonin. Now, melatonin is a hormone that is a precursor to sleep, and it can only be created in the absence of blue and green light. So after dark, think about it ancestrally. After dark, our ancestors would have, the sun would have set, they would have been outside, and the only colors of light they would have seen would have been the reds, ambers, and oranges that were from the campfire. They wouldn't have had any blue or green light in any huge amount of quantities to disrupt the melatonin production. So what we're doing as a population after dark is, and this is 99% of, probably even more than that, of the world's population will go home to their house after the sunset. They probably haven't even watched the sunset. And what will they do? They'll flick on their house light. And that is telling your body again that it's solar noon. And so your body is constantly disentrained in terms of its body clock. And this body clock is in all of our cells in the body. And so whatever sort of organ is producing a specific hormone at a specific time of the day will be thrown out of whack. So we're walking around being this sort of like really sort of mismatched, muddled up hormonal sort of mess as a population at the moment. And then we treat that with, giving people pills to fix things. But, it all comes back to being beings of light and treating, I guess, any kind of hormonal problem with correct light management. And I mentioned a little bit earlier as well about cortisol being a good thing in the morning. And that's fine. And cortisol will rise throughout the day, keeping us alert and awake. And then around about solar noon, it will start dropping down until it gets to sunset and post-sunset, where it will basically all but vanish and melatonin can then be secreted. But what happens is, because blue light specifically raises the hormone cortisol, and our body thinks it's solar noon or before constantly 24 hours a day, our cortisol levels of a population are really high. And when a hormone gets chronically high, we get side effects. So in cortisol's instance, chronically high cortisol levels leads to things like chronic stress, anxiety, lack of sleep, depression, insomnia. So what we're doing is we're not allowing our hormones to cycle correctly with basically the circadian rhythm and spin of the earth. So we need to take measures to then, block and filter specific frequencies of light during the day. And the main issue for women is the thyroid. And we've seen over the last sort of 10 to 15 years, which, and again, correlation doesn't always mean causation, but when you look at the literature and see the strength of how LED lights have increased over the last 50 years and the amount of time that men and women are exposed to digital LED backlit screens has increased. Things like Hashimoto's disease and hypothyroidism, for instance, have risen specifically in women. And, just for sort of anecdotally speaking, I guess my theory around that is that, yes, we're all doing a lot more work on these things. We're looking at laptops a lot more. It's very close. The thyroid is only a few millimeters under the skin, so it's very
now they realize that the skin also registers light as well. So like a lot of people I know will cover and wear scarves with the BLUblox glasses while they're at the computer, but continue.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. I can talk about melanopsin as well on the skin a little bit later. But I guess with women, like when they go into the corporate workplace, typically a man will wear a shirt, they'll have it buttoned up and they'll have a tie on. And this gives like this sort of subconscious protection against the blue light hitting the thyroid. And I feel that women would wear more tops where the thyroid are exposed. They typically wouldn't wear a tie. It's not, corporate attire for a lady in an office to wear. So that's sort of my 2 cents on why hypothyroidism is more in women than men. But, there's lots of other sort of hormonal imbalances in women as well that all can be sort of tied back and attributed to light as well.
I love this. And I just think you guys are the only product we're allowing to feature before podcast episodes, because I just believe this is an epidemic that people really, really need to curb and also have protection from. And the whole reason why I moved out back to my hometown, which is right outside of Yosemite, is because there's zero light pollution where we ended up buying this place. I mean, even in our town, we don't even have a stoplight. We still have stop signs. So there's zero light pollution, and the house has all incandescent lighting. And then, of course, anytime I try to not look at any devices or any blue light, like until the sun rises. And then after the sun sets, I try to not look at anything either. And so that's a really big thing. But I think for the person, I'm going to great measures on top of the glasses to protect. For the people who are in the city and don't have the luxury of really escaping and getting away, what are the type of glasses they should be wearing throughout the day from BLUblox? And then are there any other measures you suggest that they can go towards to try to protect themselves further, to protect their hormones?
Yeah, fantastic questions. And actually, that's a good cue because the sun has just risen here in Australia. So I can take my red Sleep Plus glasses off and I will...
I'm still yet to get the other ones. I still wear these throughout the day, which I know aren't smart, but they're the best ones that I've got going for me. I have to get the other ones.
Yeah, you definitely do. So I'm gonna wear, because I basically hack my environment. I'm sat right next to a window. The window's open. The sun is starting to come through. So during the day, there's 2 types of glasses to wear. Okay, so you've got computer glasses. Okay, and you've got a real sort of strong yellow tinted glasses. If anyone's watching, they can see that these are yellow, but those that are just listening, they're just sort of like a deep yellow color, a bit like something like Bono would wear, I guess.
That's what my fiance always calls me when I'm out with the glasses. Because in Los Angeles, I wear the red all like out at night anywhere I'm at, and he's like, "All right, Bono, let's go."
Yeah, too funny. So the difference between the two, Lacey. So there's 2 choices, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing for people. So it's good to explain the difference. So computer glasses, what they do is they filter down blue light across the whole blue spectrum. So they don't block it, they just filter it down. And the reason they do that is because when you run an LED light of any source, like we described earlier, the laptop computer, the house lights, those things, smartphone, there is very little red, amber, and yellow, but there is a massive amount of blue light. So sunlight is a very balanced spectrum. Natural light has the same amount of blue that it does green, red, amber, orange, violet, etc. Okay, all the same. LED lights don't. They have a massive spike in blue, and then it sort of tapers off down into the other colors. Now, blue light on its own is extremely damaging. Okay, so when you go outside, okay, in the daytime, blue light does the same thing. It causes cell death in the eye. It causes issues the same as it does artificial light. But nature always puts something clever in to protect you, and that is red light. So the red light is always balanced in the sun. So if you're going out during the day without your sunglasses on, which is what we advocate to do, you're watching the sunrise, you're watching the sunset. Yes, you'll get some cell death in your eye, but it'll be natural. But you'll also get the restorative powers of the red light as well. So what artificial light doesn't have is that red frequency. So when we're sat without these glasses on, looking at our laptop, computer, or smartphone, we're getting cell death in our eyes, but we've got nothing to restore them. So what happens over time is your eyesight degrades, you get things like macular degeneration, you become short-sighted, you start getting tension headaches because of the stress in the eyes and around the sort of sinus area from all this blue light penetrating your retinas. So what this does, these clear lenses, is they reduce the blue light down, so it's less of a barrage and assault on your eye cells, basically. And it brings the blue in line with the other spectrums of light. So you're going to get a little bit of repair in there as well. Now, these are great if you're in a very well-lit office, you've got a light bit of computer work, maybe you've got a few hacks, which I'll talk about in a minute, around your desk. These would be perfect. And also, in the office environment, sometimes you can't wear colored lenses. So these are completely clear. And all you see is you can probably see it now, like blue light bouncing off. So those are really good. I typically wear those because I hack my environment. Now, these are summer glow. Now, these are also daytime blue reducers. But what they do is they block a specific frequency of blue light. So blue light runs from 400 to 495 nanometers. People that are listening don't really need to understand the details of that. Basically, that's what blue light is called scientifically. Now, this blocks half of the bottom end of the blue spectrum, which is the most damaging. So someone that would wear the yellow lenses would be sat in a very poorly naturally lit office. So they would just have artificial lights, probably wouldn't sit near a window. Maybe there's not many windows in the office. They might have already some issues like anxiety, stress, and depression, and need to block a lot more of the blue light than, say, someone that wore the computer glasses. And they might also have, a bit of macular degeneration already, so they're susceptible to it. They may get migraine headaches. So these would be sort of a more powerful sort of blue blocker / reducer for during the day. And as long as you don't mind the yellow tint, I think they're quite cool, to be fair. But some people don't want to have sort of attention drawn to them, so that's where the clears would come in as well. So that's why you would wear the yellows, I guess, over the clears and vice versa.
That's what I need, are the yellows. Yeah, in the daytime, because I wear these at night, and I'll wear these. I honestly have like red on all of my screens and stuff too, but I guess yellow during the day makes the most sense for protection. That's wonderful to know.
Absolutely, yeah. And this specific tint makes everything glow as well, so you feel like you're in the middle of summer all the time. So it's
or
really
high
good.
Or something.
Definitely. Yeah, because I can literally hear it already. People saying like, yeah, but I've already got macular degeneration. I need reading glasses or prescription. Not a problem. We do that. Send us your prescription. We put them in any of our frames.
That's fantastic. That was going to be one of my questions. So I'm quickly interrupting this episode to invite you, if you're ready to start your manifestation journey, or if anything you've heard in our manifestation episodes has piqued your interest, to begin. We have a la carte workshops in everything from the basics bundle, which is what we recommend to everyone who starts. It's the formula that actually teaches you how to manifest, unblocked inner child, and unblocked shadow. We also have a la carte workshops on love and money. But the real gem is the Pathway membership, because it encompasses every single workshop we have. It's a year-long membership with full access to the few a la carte offerings we have, and exclusive workshops not available anywhere else, such as the daily practice, which is what everybody in the Pathway uses, hopefully at least 3 times a week to daily, in order to truly create the new neural pathways that one needs in order to manifest, and houses the library of our deep imaginings, which is our unique hypnosis process that allows you to get into your subconscious and overwrite those old neural pathways, creating the new ones. You can use our special code EXPANDED, all caps, EXPANDED, to receive $20 off your first a la carte workshop purchase, or $20 off your first month of the Pathway. Again, that's all caps, EXPANDED, EXPANDED. Okay, now back to the episode. What are your personal hacks that you do to support the glasses in your environment?
Fantastic question again. So I've got lots of different hacks. So the first one is, we mentioned earlier that blue light during the day, artificially speaking, is bad because there isn't much red light around. Okay. So what I do is when I'm in the office, and I don't have it on right now because I've got another hack that I'll say in a bit, and I'm sat by a window with red light coming in, is a Himalayan salt lamp. Really versatile bit of kit that, they pick them up, you get the sort of negative ion effect, all the sort of wellness and health benefits from that salt lamp. But what a lot of people don't understand is that's sort of a sort of pinky red coloured light as well. So put that next to your laptop when you're working, and you're actually going to balance the blue spectrum down. You're not going to reduce the blue spectrum down, but you're going to increase the red spectrum. So yes, you'll still get the apoptosis, cell death in the eye, but you've got the restorative effects of the red light next to your computer or your laptop or TV or something like that. Now, another good hack, especially for the home office, some people won't be able to do this in the office because of, I guess, download rules with the company perhaps you work for. But there's two software programs. One is called BLUblox and one Iris. Yeah. Okay. So these are two really good pieces of software. It's great to hear you're using them because, this is a 101 sort of biohack that everyone should be doing because it's free. Download one of those softwares, and what it does is you can set it so it reduces the blue down and keeps everything in balance. And you can actually have it. I have it so my screen is red.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I go the complete opposite way because it's such restorative colours, and I have natural blue light coming through the windows, and I go outside quite a bit as well. And that's another good hack to do. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I work in an office. I can't go outside except for lunchtime." That's total nonsense in my eyes because there are always people in the office who smoke. And what do these smokers do? They go out for a smoke break. It's all allowed. They can go out and, for 5-10 minutes have their cigarette and then come back in. So you just need to have a light break. You need to say to your boss that, at a point in the morning, say 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm going to go outside just for 2 minutes and be outside in the natural light and let those light signals hit my skin and hit my eye and tell my body basically what time it is to release the correct hormones. Go out on your lunch. Don't sit in the office kitchen at lunch with all the blue artificial light. Get outside. Doesn't matter if it's cloudy. Doesn't matter if it's raining. Light still comes through the clouds. It still comes through the rain. You get all that good stuff as well. So, and if your boss is still like, no, you can't do it, just pretend you've taken up smoking or something and just get outside and get the light. So, those are 3 good hacks as well. And there's another hack, and I will link this to you of how to do it because it needs setting up on your smartphone. So, my phone's on night mode at the moment. So as you can see, it reduces a lot of the blue light down. And a lot of people know how to do that. It's a button to press. But we've run it through a spectrometer. And it does reduce blue light, but it doesn't block blue light. So it's brilliant for during the day. But after dark, you need to have your phone screen emitting red light.
That's what I have. Yeah, the red scale.
Yeah, so you can set up the hack. Yeah, so you can press it 3 times and bang, it goes red. So you definitely need to get a post out about that so people can do that hack. That would be incredible. So look, those are probably the 4 best hacks that you could do. Another one that you can do as well, you briefly touched upon it earlier about the incandescent lighting. With LED lights in your house or in the office, it depends if you can change them or not. The LED light gives out a lot of blue light, as we've mentioned, but they also do something called flicker. This is one of the worst things we can do for ourselves hormonally and from a health perspective, because flickering light causes damage and accelerated aging a lot quicker. So, something that's flickering is, they did it years ago because a flickering light is more energy efficient than one that just continually beams out light. But in saving a few pennies, we have managed to, really affect our health from it. So you can use 2 types of light bulb. Okay, incandescent is by far the best. Okay, if you can get hold of them, very difficult to get hold of these days, especially in Australia because they banned selling them. So
wow, for the Americans listening, they're available even on Amazon.
Perfect. That is great. So yeah, I get mine shipped in from the States. Yeah. I had to jump on eBay, Amazon, get them sent over and hope customs don't open them and get put in jail for smuggling in incandescent lights.
Totally. Yeah.
But I also use something called halogen. So there's halogen lights that don't flicker. But the issue you have with halogen is they are a lot higher color temperature. So they're a lot brighter than the incandescent. So look, they're probably fine in moderation, but incandescent is the way forward. And you just got to brace yourself with, you're going to be changing light bulbs a lot more frequently. But honestly, the time you're going to spend changing light bulbs is going to outweigh the life span and the healthy life span you're going to achieve by having changed out the majority of your lights to red. And, we all know that red is restorative. We talk a lot about blue and green light being bad, but, red light is restorative. And, a lot of people as well will be saying, Lacey, that, what do I do in the winter time? I get up before the sun sets because, daylight savings or, basically where the Earth is sat in its orbit is basically, the sun might not rise until 8 a.m. and you've got to be out leaving for work at 7 a.m. And that's why the Sleep Plus range, the red lenses, yes, you can wear them after sunset, but you can wear them before sunset as well. And when we were initially talking, I had the red Sleep Plus lenses on because the sun hadn't risen yet. And then I swapped out for the computer glasses. So in the morning, what I do in the winter over here, we're lucky enough not to have daylight savings, but we still get a period of about 30 to 40 minutes when I want to specifically get up that I don't want to be going and switching on an LED light, jumping on a laptop or a phone. So what I do is I have red lights all around my house in the bulbs, but I also have a device that actually gives out infrared light as well, because this is an invisible spectrum of light that is really important for the repair and damage of cells and making, I guess, your body sort of repair any damage from the blue light. So it's not just about the visible, it's about the invisible as well. So, where get your red light on in the morning, get your blue blockers on in the mornings. And then when that sunrise is going to happen, then you can get outside. It could be that, it could be in the office, it could be that, in inverted commas, smoke break that you want to go and have and stand outside and see the sunrise. Because, you don't need to be out there for hours and hours. Just a couple of minutes is fine. I'm typically out for about 30 minutes, but, anyone can get the benefits from a sunrise from a couple of minutes. So we just need to, I guess, balance out what we're doing seasonally as well, and understand that even if it is cloudy when the sun is rising, still get out there. And we get a big added benefit in the winter as well. And I'm probably deviating a little bit from the subject of blue light, but in the winter it gets cold, and cold is also a restorative.
Oh, it's amazing. Air bathing.
So, yeah, absolutely. So you get your CT. So yes, the sun might not be beaming through at the same rate that it does in the middle of summer, but you're also getting the added benefits of restoring the cells and immune cell, sort of immune function regeneration from the cold. So don't worry about getting outside in the middle of winter in as minimal amount of clothes as possible to watch the sunrise. You're getting you're getting a double whammy really. So in essence, maybe winter is better than summer.
And honestly, don't wear shoes, like barefoot on the earth with it, for the whole negative ion situation. And then another really good tip as well that I don't think people know, and maybe this is an incentive, is when you are out in the cold, it does tone your muscles as well because they're flexing. So there's some extra incentive, and I really do have to have a full-blown testimonial for this, because even when I'm in LA, for instance, and I only have so much control, and it does show how much the non-native EMFs affect me as well. I'm very sensitive, but we have blackout shades in our room. I do the red glasses. I'm actually my poor fiance, I make him go into what's known as the electronic room at night where he can do blue light. And after the sun sets, I'm all candlelight, but I do use these if I need anything. My phone's on red, it's a whole thing. Yeah. With all of that, just keeping that in mind, even once I get, just to show people how important the light spectrum is and how big of an effect I really do believe it has on people. When I get up here after about 2 days, it's crazy that my melatonin will kick in right as it's getting to be about sunset, so that I'm exhausted by the time that it's, 8 o'clock at night at this point, and falling asleep at that point and waking up then at 4 or 5. So for people who are just, not even, haven't had the, they haven't been out camping or whatever it is and haven't gotten to see that shift, this does make the world of difference. And I really, really do believe in these glasses as being unbelievably supportive in order to restore if you're having hormonal issues, being preventative. Another big thing for me is I haven't been able to get pregnant in almost 3 years. And I think that that's tremendously due to all of this non-native everything we've got going on in the world, toxins, everything. So if there's any last tidbits to share with us, things we should know, how if we're if we're even feeling overwhelmed about ordering, what you suggest is the first most important order. Give us the whole download.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first sort of thing that you need to do purchase-wise with BLUblox is the ones you're wearing, Lacey. That is spot on. You've got it correct. Like during the day, even if you're looking at a computer and you've got a bad internal lighting environment, if you can get outside quite a lot to start with, which is free, that's going to help you during the day to a certain extent. You need the glasses eventually if you want to be optimal, like the daytime ones, that is. But these are just sort of free things that people can do during the day. After dark, it's just impossible to avoid blue light. You've got some amazing hacks that you're doing. Like you've got your phone screen on red, you've got candle lighting, and you're in an environment where there's not going to be a lot of external blue light coming into your environment as well. Now, a lot of us will live in, cities like LA, New York, Sydney, London, places like that, where outside blue light is going to come into your home. So for instance, if you're watching TV, the neighbors might have their lights on. There might be a security light that the cat sets off every now and again that shines through your bedroom window. You may be, want to read a book at night and you might need a light on to do that. You may, a lot of people like say, oh, don't watch TV, but it's an integral part of a lot of people's lives and they might want to catch the latest soap or documentary or watch the news or something. And it's hard to block blue light from, your TV. So, the Sleep Plus range, the ones that you're wearing, these red lenses are well worth the investment. Avoid buying cheap ones off Amazon because you end up like me buying 3 or 4 of them and, realizing that they don't do anything for you or much at all. And, these glasses will last a lifetime. Like a lot of people say that they from a couple of years ago, the first people that bought them are saying that they're still as good as new. They're sturdy frames. It's all made in Australia. So you're not getting some flimsy frame from another country that just sort of bulk produces these things. So definitely start off with Sleep Plus. You also probably then want to see how your sleep is going with those. I guarantee you 100% after the first night, you're going to be amazed and be like, how did I not get these sooner? And then probably think to yourself then, right, during the day, I need either the blue light computer glasses or I need summer glow yellow lenses. Now, what a lot of people do, and I love this part of the job. A lot of people find it a pain, but I don't. I love it. I encourage people to reach out to me. So drop us an email for our contact form. It's all on the website, and just say, "This is my environment during the day. What would you recommend?"
Oh, that's great.
We'll take a synopsis and say, "Look, from what you've described, you would be benefiting most from X or Y." So I would suggest doing that. And it's hard for a lot of people to go on there and deduce what they need. So look, myself, I will personally answer them. My wife's very involved in the business and knows, as much of a geek as I am about this thing. So she can help as well. And she can perhaps give a female perspective as well if there's some specific problems that, perhaps I can't relate to that maybe she can. So, we've got a good team here and, customer service is our biggest sort of, thing that we want to do and do right, and we're here to help. And if for instance, Lacey, someone buys the wrong lens, they may buy the clear ones, they're like, actually, having read your website a little bit more or done some more research, I need the yellow ones. You can swap those out. It's not a problem. Like we'll send out a free return. It's fine. Just post them back to us. Costs like $10 to post them back, and then we'll ship out another one to you of a different color to try. It's not a problem. And I know our website says a 30-day guarantee, but it's for as long as you need. If 3 months down the line you've got the wrong pair and they're still in good nick, then we'll happily swap them out. It's really not an issue. We need to make sure everyone's got the correct light filtering eyewear, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help.
One last thing that I do have to really touch on is, depression and anxiety are becoming such an epidemic. And I think not many people know how much it's contributed to, I think, our screens in general, particularly, and also LED lighting. For the person who is dealing, is in corporate or is in a non-natural environment, like everywhere I live now has huge windows so that I don't have to have any lights on. And I am privileged enough to be able to work from home. I know not many people have that privilege. So for you, would you then suggest the next step is for sure the yellow lights, the yellow glasses, if they can get away with that? Because to me, it's sounding like I should have those for sure when I'm working, anytime I'm at the computer, anytime I'm on my phone, and definitely when I'm in LA.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're serious about being completely optimal, then yellow is definitely the key. And, you know, I will wear the yellows when I go in. I go into the city in a bit, and we've got an office there, and I'll be, unfortunately, it's not as well lit as where I am now, and I'll put the yellow glasses on, but I still will be going outside a lot during the day. But, you know, some really sort of prominent, you know, and serious, what we call biohackers. So people that are really serious about optimizing, people like, you know, Luke's story.
I love Luke. Yeah. Luke and Jack Kruse. Yeah. We're at the same level of crazy.
Yes, exactly. Like those
but it's only because we've had health issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And those guys are completely serious about being optimal, and they will only wear the yellow summer glows during the day and the sleep plus, I guess, after dark. So, you know, those guys are probably the sort of milestone that we want to be sort of getting up to. And obviously, you know, you take it as seriously and, you know, biohack as well as those guys do. So, you know, as any aspiring sort of, you know, female that wants sort of inspiration and to feel empowered is coming to the right place in yourself, because you will only look at optimal and only discuss optimal. So, you know, that's what sort of sets you three apart from, I guess, the rest of the people that are just sort of peddling products here and there. Like, these guys will, and yourself, will only recommend the best in class. And that's why I'm so honored and humbled to be, you know, invited on your show. I know Luke supports BLUblox and mentions them a lot on his shows. So, you know, it's just great that this is exactly where I wanted to be. I wanted to create optimal, and I wanted the best in class like yourself and Luke and Jack to understand and know that all the science and hard work that we put into this is actually optimizing us as a human race.
Well, thank you so much for creating such an incredible product that's been incredibly supportive, so easy to wear. And again, like you're saying, it's completely like chic. You can dress them up, dress them down. And anybody out there who's like in the city, especially women at night, make sure that you're covering your body and wearing the glasses as well if you're going to get serious about this, to really see the difference, because it's super powerful. And I'm so grateful. And thank you for giving us your time. I'm literally going to hop off right now and go buy the yellow glasses. But I have those during the day. Thank you for explaining that further. And I mean, I learned so much on here. So thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so humbled to be invited on, Lacey. Thank you so much for reaching out. And if anyone has any questions after this, and even if they direct them to you or me, like, feel free to forward them on. I'm happy to answer them. And I know we've only even just tiny scratch the surface here, but I think we've got the sort of high level stuff out there that people need to know. And I think, you know, down the line, you know, when the schedules align, we definitely need to do one on melanopsin in the skin.
Oh yeah, I would love to dig way deeper. So we'll have to do a follow-up maybe around summer. It would be really nice. Amazing. Because I am, again, so passionate about this. I think it's important. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that idea. We should definitely do one in the summer, which would be our winter. But yeah, we'll have an agenda ready as well, so we don't deviate off onto other subjects, because there's so many, like, you know, I could speak for hours. It's so fun. Me too.
I love geeking out about this stuff to where it could get just out there. So we'll have a beautiful afternoon or day, I guess morning. Yeah, you guys are Southern Hemisphere. Enjoy. Thank you so much. I'm really excited. You guys will hear this on the next few episodes. In case you forget, I'm going to be kind of hammering this in. It's the only product so far that I'm willing to do that for. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. Thanks again, Lacey.
Thank you so much for tuning into the episode, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, we did. And in case you're not totally ready to join the pathway yet, I wanted to share a few of our free offerings that I'll often suggest to people as a little bit of a blueprint to get them started on their manifestation journey. The first place I like to direct people completely for free is the motivation. You can see it linked below or on our homepage as our testimony library. And it's categorized by different subjects, whether you're calling in career, money, love, wellness, and much more. When you're reading about a member's experience of what they manifested, you're actually seeing to believe and showing your subconscious that that very thing is possible for you. The second place I like to direct people is to the free clarity exercise, which is also linked below. In it, you get to try our own unique hypnosis process, learn about the science, and some journaling prompts. And the best part about this, you'll get a tiny taste of what it's like to go into your hypnotic state bring your subconscious forward, and create new neural pathways while receiving clarity. And the third thing, if you haven't listened to it on this podcast yet, please go back to the episode titled Manifestation 101, where you'll learn the basics of neural manifestation to truly understand this process. So go ahead and check out those free resources, the motivation, the free clarity exercise, and the episode Manifestation 101, all linked below. And in an effort to make sure to have representation in this process series, go ahead and submit any process testimonials you have, especially to our LGBTQ+ community, our BIPOC, as well as the Ys, which is anyone in the community who is 45 and over. All right, we'll be back next week.